everybody. Welcome to C Squared episode number 23. It's been a while. It's been about 2 months since our last episode. A whole bunch of stuff has happened, and now we are back to delight your beautiful ears. How you doing, co-host?
I'm fantastic. Sorry if it's taken a while to get the latest episode out. I was kind of busy on a pirate adventure. Might have taken a dip into the Great White North at some time in between. So I've been out adventuring. And I've been working on like a personal project of mine. So that's also taken up some time. But otherwise, I am smooth like butter.
Smooth like butter, 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 butter. Ha ha ha. Wah. I don't know what I'm doing, but we have a lot of topics to cover, and we definitely have a lot of headlines to cover because we haven't really... There's a lot of stuff that happened in those last 2 months that we've been gone, so I figured we'll get into the headlines right now. Nintendo announced the Switch 2.
Well, we all knew that it was coming.
But did you know that it was going to look so similar to the original Switch?
Well, yeah, everyone was leaking the prototypes. I mean, like, it was not a surprise.
Did you know that they were going to make a new Mario Kart game for it?
Well, yeah, that's been rumored for a while. Did you know that the Switch 2 also has a screen?
No way.
I know. I was shocked too.
I don't believe you. That's not true. It's not true.
What do you think? It had like a helmet like with the Virtual Boy so you can see everything in red?
Exactly. VR goggles. You wear the helmet and you have to walk on a treadmill in order to walk in the game.
Oh God, no. I would vomit. I only tried a Virtual Boy once and it was so... I wouldn't do it again.
It's the worst. What were they thinking? Like, how do you play test that and go, oh yeah, this is acceptable for the public?
But luckily, we're talking about the Switch 2 and not the Virtual Boy. And the Switch 2 is coming, and we're getting a direct next week as of this recording. So Who knows what'll be coming out for the Switch 2. I'm excited because I've mentioned before that my Switch model that I have right now is from 2017. So I've technically had a launch day Switch for the longest time. And over the years, I've kind of debated on getting a new Switch. But I think, like, as the Switch 2 rumors were getting stronger and stronger by the year, I was like, I'll kind of hold off for the Switch 2. So I'll be getting it.
My favorite thing about it, and at least they confirmed this, because again, I didn't know this going into it, but yes, it is backwards compatible with the original Nintendo Switch, meaning that every game I own for that system is still going to be playable on the new one. And so I like that because, like my PS5, I can replace the space that my Switch is in with the Switch 2, and I don't really feel like I'm losing anything in my general area, you know? Like, when I got the PS5, I just put the PS4 in a closet, and I put the PS5 where the PS4 is, and I could still play PS4 games on the PS5, so it really didn't feel like anything changed. It just felt like I got an upgrade, and I'm happy that I can still play Switch games on the Switch too.
So your original Switch is going to go into the console Shadow Realm, is what you're trying to say.
I'm going to put it in a container, and it's going to be in the closet, where it will not collect dust, because it's in a container. But, you know.
At least it's not like a PSP or a Game Gear where, like, if you don't take the batteries out after a number of years, it all starts oozing out. Please don't do that. I learned from personal experience that you should replace or take out your batteries as soon as possible. So if you have one of those handhelds that I mentioned, might want to check on that so you don't get greeted with a very gross mess.
Do you remember earlier this year, we tried to see if my Game Boy Advance was still working, and we put like fresh batteries in it? And
I remember.
My GBA is dead. Like, batteries won't work with it.
But at least it's not like oozing out with whatever.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that oozes out. You know, it's gross. It's nasty.
My PSP is empty, you know, so
good.
I don't have to worry about any ooze coming out of that.
I just remember, like, sometime in 2013 or 2014, I guess I was like going through like some video game stuff that I had downstairs, because all of my Genesis games that my mom got for me is in the basement, but I found all the Game Gear games, and I found the Game Gear, and I'm like, oh my god, it's the Game Gear, and then I like touch it, and I'm like, what is this? Why is it so sticky? I'm fine, like I washed my hands and everything, but it wasn't great.
I'm fine.
Radiation poisoning doesn't accumulate in your body after 10 years, right?
I was never the same after touching my Game Gear.
No.
But yeah, Switch 2, next week we're going to get the Direct. I've toyed with the idea of doing like a reaction video, but I don't know. We'll see.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. I feel like I should do more of that stuff since my videos are so infrequent.
I could join you too. I'm just saying. Oh. You have another co-host.
Oh.
You can't get rid of me.
Especially after the first topic of today's podcast. God. But, yeah, Switch 2, we're going to learn more about it next week, and that's going to be exciting. Our next headline, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. You know.
No, I don't. This is the first I've ever heard of this.
You've never heard of this song?
No.
Really?
No.
I could have sworn, like, you've been over at my place and you could have heard it, like, play on the TV.
I don't know when that would have come up.
You don't know, hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch those Eagles fly.
No.
You've never heard of EAGLES, Eagles?
I don't recall ever watching an Eagles game with you, ever. I don't know why that would come up.
So I'm gonna be honest with y'all right now. I'm an Atlanta sports fan through and through.
Oh,
I love the Braves. I love the Falcons. But most of Atlanta sports is pretty mediocre to bad. And when the Atlanta Falcons suck, I can count on the Philadelphia Eagles to give me some semblance of hope in winning something, and they did that. So I'm happy.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend is not happy, though.
Well, Taylor Swift's boyfriend still has Taylor Swift in the end, so I think he's already won.
Yeah, I guess.
But when the thing with Philly, though, is that they go super hard with, like, their championships in sports.
Yeah.
Even more so than Atlanta and other cities. I guess because, like, a lot of Philadelphia is, like, very rooted in, like, working class culture in the sense that sports is, like, a big thing that they bond over.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why you see lots of celebrations and climbing posts. Like, every time, like, in the 5 or 6 years that I've lived in Philly, every time we've been in contention for, like, a championship, there's always, like, an announcement from the city being like, we're gonna grease the light posts because we don't want people climbing them. And people find a way to climb them anyway. So the sports culture in Philly is very intense.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I remember, like, getting off work one time, and I step off the bus, and, like, I look over at the light post, and it's all shiny, and I'm like, oh shit, they greased this light post.
And they definitely had quite the celebration after the Eagles won that night.
Yeah, I had to link Clement a stream of, like, all the different cameras from, like, around the city just streaming, like, all these celebrations, and I'm like, yeah, that's what Philly does. That's what Philly does. And it's so funny because, like, when I moved out of Philly, like, last year, I was like, watch them win the Super Bowl. Watch them win the Super Bowl when I'm not there. I'm kind of glad I'm also not there because it gets very noisy and I am very introverted and I do not like too much noise.
Nah. The team everyone wanted to win won.
Oh, right. So that's another thing I can mention. So I was on a flight during the first half of that game, and, like, that entire flight, like, I've never flown during, like, a major sporting event like the Super Bowl, but everyone on that plane clearly wanted, like, Philly to win. And I like the Kansas City Chiefs too. Like, I rooted for them last year, but, you know, Philly's in the Super Bowl. You can't beat that. So, like, during Cooper DeJean's, like, pick six, like, the entire plane just cheered, and it was amazing. They can't have an experience like that.
You saw the halftime show in the airport lounge, right?
Yes. Oh, Kendrick was amazing. It was such a great halftime show. I love Kendrick as an artist. And like a lot of his music and the themes that he was representing in that halftime show was just incredible. And like literally like I watched it at like a bar and like the head chef stopped cooking and just stared at the TV. And then like I see 4 or 5 people come out of the kitchen and they all pile out.
That's amazing.
To watch Kendrick Lamar.
That's amazing.
It was great. It's like that entire airport just stopped like operating for a moment.
I gotta go to a busy place like that every time there's a Super Bowl half show now.
Yeah. But yeah, go Birdies. I'm proud of yous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing that happened was the Oscars. It's that time once again. Awards season came around and we had such wonderful contenders like The Substance and Emilia Perez, everyone's favorite movie.
No.
What?
No.
Don't you love Emilia Perez?
No, I don't. I was so close to making you sit through that movie because I'm like, if I had to suffer through like 2 hours in that movie, then you have to as well.
Oh, come on. I'm sure it was a lovely film that I will definitely watch one day.
No. People were saying Emilia Perez was like the worst movie to be nominated for Best Picture since like Crash, and I'm like, really? And then like I watched it on Netflix. I'm like, oh no, this is bad. This is really bad.
God.
Yeah. I
didn't see too many Oscar contenders this year because I haven't really gotten out to the movies too much. I saw Wicked and I saw The Substance. I can't think of anything else that I saw. Either way, Anora took the whole thing and basically sweeped the house. And last I checked, that is on a streaming service. I think that's on Netflix or something now. So
I didn't see it on Netflix in the States.
Oh, okay. But I'll definitely have to check it out. I'll have to check out Anora because it's the Best Picture winner this year.
I still want to see that, oh gosh, it's with Timothée Chalamet. He's Bob Dylan.
A Complete Unknown is the movie.
Yes, thank you. A Complete Unknown. And I'm also interested in The Brutalist as well.
I'm interested in Conclave. That looked kind of interesting.
Ooh, Conclave was a movie I saw, and I loved Conclave. It was great.
Yeah.
I knew it, like, wasn't gonna win, like, Best Picture or anything, but, like, I love the characters and the costuming and how they, like, framed everything in the film. It was just a really fun time.
Okay.
If you like Catholic papal drama, then it's a very good time. It might be a little bit stressful to watch, I don't know. But I liked it.
It's got John Lithgow, and that's all I need to know.
And John Lithgow is fantastic in this film, so... I'm just confuzzled because I don't understand how Emilia Perez got, like, all these nominations for, like, Best Musical or whatever, when Better Man is literally right there, and I saw that movie for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I loved it so much. It's probably my favorite movie I've seen so far this year.
Well, damn.
Yeah. So, Better Man, if you don't know, it's a biopic, quote unquote. There's some events that are, like, not accurate to, like, the subject, but, like, it's kind of like a biopic of Robbie Williams, who is an English singer. And it's about his life and how he made it in the music industry, but the twist is that he's a monkey. And everyone else is human, but he is portrayed as a monkey because that is how he sees himself. And it's the same people who produced The Greatest Showman, so if you liked that movie, I think you'll like Better Man a lot, too.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, there was another movie we saw that was nominated for a bunch of stuff. Nosferatu.
Yes, of course.
That was great.
Mm-hmm. And at least The Substance won for, like, makeup.
Oh, and it deserved it. I mean, we're going to be talking about that movie later, because that's going to be a subject of this podcast. But, Jesus, I would have rioted, because when I heard that it was going up for, like, visual effects, like, practical stuff, I'm like, okay, after that ending, if The Substance doesn't win for that crazy freak show at the end of that fucking movie, I mean, there is no God.
No. See, I was going to say the same thing if Emilia won Best Film, but that's fine, too.
The Best Picture is Emilia Perez.
Bullshit. I would have screamed bullshit.
I hope it was worth it, Academy.
But they also lost Best Foreign Film to a Brazilian film, which is like, ha, 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 deserved.
Rightfully so. The only thing Emilia Perez won was Zoe Saldana for acting, and then they did get Best Song at some point.
Which is, it's so asinine, because, like, Emilia Perez does not have, like, good music. The only song I remember from that movie is For All the Wrong Reasons. I've shown you that song.
Yeah, I've seen it. That was something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also say that Conan O'Brien is always the best host whenever you get him.
Yes.
And he did a fantastic job as always, as I expected him to. And Adrian Brody once again cut an enormous, gigantic speech that he just doesn't know when to stop. Good Lord.
Look, he's just a little passionate. There's some passion there.
I actually liked that show a lot. I was surprised how much time flew by when I was watching it. I was very pleased with it.
Yeah, I liked how it was formatted more than previous Oscar ceremonies. A big change they made this year was they usually have all the best song nominees perform, but they didn't do that this year. They did something different. So, like, Ariana Grande and Cynthia got to sing, like, some of their songs from Wicked. And then there was, like, a James Bond tribute.
Oh, that was really good.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The opening act was so friggin' good.
Both of those ladies are incredible. Really great chemistry, too, on screen, I have to say.
Yeah. But yeah, the Oscars was fantastic.
All right.
And the only other headline I've really got is just me gesturing at America.
But look, Canada beat the US and the Four Nations, like, hockey tournament, and they beat the US for third place in the CONCACAF Nations League soccer tournament, so Canada's getting some wins. It's fine.
Damn right.
It's fine. Which, by the way, 3 fistfights broke out at the beginning of the first Canada-USA match during the Four Nations tournament, which, by the way, supposed to be an all-star game. Like, this is originally the NHL's all-star weekend.
Yeah.
So they did something different this year, and they're like, okay, we're not going to have the usual all-star stuff. We're going to have, like, 4 nations compete against each other in, like, a mini-tournament. And, you know, because of the tensions between Canada and the US, there were, like, 3 fistfights in the first 10 seconds of the game. But it's alright, because Canada won the whole thing anyway. And now we don't have to hear Freebirds played every time the US scores a goal. Which was the annoying part of the tournament for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll just say that anytime you watch a Canadian sporting event, expect the opening to be nothing but boo! Boo! Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Because they've tariffed us, and now we have to pay more for stuff, and that's fun. Planes have been falling out of the sky and blowing up and whatnot, which is, you know...
Dude, I was so scared. Because if you follow me on Blue Sky, you know that I went to Canada last month to visit Clement and go to Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
And, like, the week before I was supposed to take off, there was a Delta plane that flew into Toronto and flipped upside down. And I was like, oh no, that's the airline I'm taking next week. So I told Clement, like, if I die, you can lobby to Congress on my behalf, please.
You have permission to politicize my death.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
And the scariest part was the flight there, fine. The last 10 minutes, it starts to get a little foggy outside. I can't see anything. And, like, it gets a little bit more turbulent.
Mm-hmm.
And so we literally couldn't see the runway until we were, like, inches off the ground. So it's something that we weren't, like, bracing for, like, the runway to just hit under us. We were like, okay, oh, I guess it's there. I guess we're landing now. Better cross my fingers and hope the plane doesn't tip over. And it didn't. And we all clapped. I usually don't clap on planes, but after everything that's been going on in the news, I had to. I was like, yeah, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my pizza tonight. I'm good.
There's too much going on there. I'm not going to go all that deep into it. The only thing I'll say is that I'm supposed to be visiting you in Georgia come May.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about the trip to. I'm a little worried about the trip home.
Yeah, that's what I'm a little nervous about.
That's the only part where I'm like, am I going to be spending 12 days in a fucking center because I'm Canadian?
At least you clear U.S. Customs on the Canada side.
Yeah. That's why I'm not worried about going to Georgia. I feel like nothing's going to happen to me because, like, getting into the actual area where you wait for the plane, like, that's no hassle at all. I'm in Canadian territory. I just fly out, go to Georgia, get off plane, the end. But yeah, it's trying to get on the plane home. I'm like, oh boy, because we there have been a lot of countries that have actually given out like statements, like genuine travel advisory warnings that, like, you know, there's been a lot of foreigners who've had a lot of weird shit going on. There's like a French passenger who was denied entry simply because his social media was anti-Trump. And it's like,
yeah, that's wild.
That's a fucking thing to
it makes me nervous because I don't know if they're surveying me.
Yeah, really. Hey, fun times.
But yeah, I think you'll be okay. Yeah. You'll be okay. We'll make it to MomoCon.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to rock the boat. I'm not looking for employment. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. You know what I'll do? I'll just make a whole bunch of posts that are just like super positive Trump before I leave.
Oh my God.
And then they'll scroll through those like initial 5 or 6 posts and go, he's a true American sympathizer. Ha ha. Stamp, you're in. Go on in, Canadian friend. Ha 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 ha. And that'll be that.
I mean, you can just tell the border agent that, like, you're visiting your fiance, and that's fine, right? Oh, oops, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to mention that.
Sure, you're not supposed to reveal that part yet. It's the first topic.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Which, we're done headlines, so I guess we should go into the first topic.
Yes. We should.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't follow me or Caro on social media, you might not have heard this crazy-ass news. Something that happened on January 1st, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
I, the Great Clement, incredibly popular, incredibly sexy, greatest YouTube personality that's ever existed. I may have gotten engaged. I may have found the one. I may have found the girl that I'm crazy about. The one I love more than anything in this world. And I wanted to keep her and marry her and have kids with her potentially.
Oh.
We're not there yet. But
no.
But I just wanted to secure my future. I wanted to secure something that means a lot to me. And so on New Year's Eve, while we were waiting for the ball to drop. Well, it was after the ball dropped.
It was after the ball.
2025 started, and I just thought that it was a nice romantic occasion to start the year off with a bang. Not just with the ball, but also the proposal.
Yes.
So I bought myself an engagement ring before that point, and I popped the question. And what did you say?
I said, hell yeah. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin would say.
Yeah, we smashed beer together and we drank all the beer. Yeah. It was awesome.
But yes, Clement and I are engaged, which is still like, because I love him a lot. I've loved him for a very, very long time. And cue the comment section going, wait, they're dating? They were dating?
I was going to bring that up. Because I was being pretty coy by saying, like, I got engaged, I did this, I did that. I don't know how many people, if you don't follow me on social media or you haven't seen enough interesting exchanges between the two of us, let's say.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's time to reveal that you are watching a podcast that is hosted by a couple. We are dating.
And we have been a couple the entirety of the podcast. Even before then.
We've been a couple since 2018.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Okay, so that's maybe why.
2018 is when I was on the Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric part.
Oh my god!
How was your first context clue?
Why did we meet up alone to do a commentary together? That's weird.
Why did he specifically mention we were in a hotel room during that part in Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric? Go back and watch that part again.
It was also a good playthrough. That's why you should go back and watch Rise of Lyric.
Yes.
But, yeah. So we've been dating for quite a while. And yes, this podcast, you've been lied to this whole time. We're a couple.
I think people knew that, though.
I think so, too.
I'm always kind of shy. I'm a shy person.
Yeah.
But
it puts the whole podcast into question. Now we can never have any major disagreements because we're dating.
Oh, yeah.
I have to agree with you on every single subject. I will never, ever have differing opinions from you because otherwise, bad times.
So Sonic 3 is the best Sonic game over Sonic 2.
That's right. It's better than Sonic 2. I don't know why I ever said that Sonic 2 was the best Sonic game. I must have been smoking crack. I would never say that.
My heart has grown into 4 different sizes.
You know what story I think is easy to understand and definitely not boring sometimes? Kingdom Hearts. What? That story is incredible. I love Kingdom Hearts story. It's so good.
Yay.
Never confusing, never annoying at all. I love Kingdom Hearts.
Yay. What else do you love?
You tell me.
Did you like the ending to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Oh, you betcha. That was, I had no issues whatsoever. I thought it was perfect.
Will you go to the store and get me 5 gallons of almond milk?
Okay. No, I'm sorry. Sonic 2 is better than Sonic 3. I don't care. I don't care. Sorry.
But I won't leave you.
Thank God.
I'm just really happy about, the news. And, I've kind of slightly hinted on it on social media, over the last couple of years, though I had to be very kind of, subtle about it. But this is the first of a lot of different steps in which I will move to Canada.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about.
I am too.
And, this is something that's been planned for several years now. So, it's always been, in the forefront that this was going to be, the final step, because I am not letting you move to the States, especially now. No way. I was I've always lived, outside of, my home state for the longest time and for most of my adult life. So, I don't know. This doesn't seem any different. Except it's a different country.
Yeah. But don't worry, we're going to just keep doing things like it's business as usual. If you miss this podcast and you just go to episode 24 and you never watch episode 23, there's a good chance that you're still going to think we're just really good friends who made a podcast together and not people who smooch and kiss and do stuff together. I don't know.
There have been times where I've gone through the comment section where people are like, no, they're really good friends. And I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Those fools. They don't know.
I read your comments. I know what you're saying.
So unfortunately, yes, ladies, you can't send me any more nude pics or nude proposals or suggestions or whatever the women I think would do if I was ever popular.
Give you expensive Pokemon cards.
That's right. Sorry, ladies, I'm taken. I can't accept your Pokemon cards.
But it's been a great several years, and I'm just really happy that we're gonna be together for a very, very long time.
Oh boy.
You should have seen me when the proposal happened. I was a mess and I was crying a lot. He can tell you.
Yeah, I got pictures of it.
Yes.
I'm not going to post them, but I have pictures of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, plan is we would like to get married at some point this year.
I think we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on, but we'll see how the whole border situation is.
That's another thing that I'm scared of.
We'll see how that thing's going later down the year. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get worse. I don't know, but we'll keep you updated.
I love you.
Aw, you said it on the air, in public, in real world, so everyone can hear it.
Yes.
I love you too.
Oh, my heart. There is no one I'd rather be with than you, because we have lots of interests in common, and you get my sense of humor. Just like I get yours.
Pickle Weasel.
See, he's a keeper, y'all.
So hopefully this doesn't ruin the mystique of the podcast. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who's like, oh, they're a couple. I'm done. Click.
No. Please stay.
This is a lie. This is a sham.
Look, this is a good year for our podcast. We have a wedding coming up. He's coming to MomoCon, so I'm sure we'll have some convention stories.
Yeah.
We're going to Oasis in August.
Yeah.
There's some good shit going on here. Please stay. Please.
I know so much about Liam Gallagher that I never knew like a year ago.
It'll be a good year. I would stay tuned if I were you.
But being a couple, we definitely meet up every now and then. You came to Toronto earlier this year. And what did we see in Toronto that blew our socks off?
The Hello Kitty store. The one that I beg you to, go with me every time we go to Toronto, because there's so much Hello Kitty stuff.
I wasn't going to say that, but I will bring it up now. The Toronto Eaton Center is being paid by Big Sanrio. Because Sanrio products, Hello Kitty products, are in every friggin' store. Every one of them. If they sell luggage, it's got Hello Kitty luggage. If they're a GameStop, there's Hello Kitty products in the GameStop. If it's a Hot Topic, you bet your ass there's going to be Hello Kitty Hot Topic pictures on the t-shirts and whatnot. It is insane. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
It's weird for you, but it's heaven for me. I've got some stuff over the years from the Toronto Eaton Center.
We came to a section that was like nothing but Pom Pom Porine, your favorite Sanrio character, and I was like...
Which I never see in the States. I never see Pom Pom Porine sections in the States like that. I was like, damn, what?
I just felt like the Matrix, the simulation was breaking down because the algorithm was favoring us too much.
You know, I could say that phrase for a lot of things over the last year, but yes, definitely in our favor for this time around.
But no, Kara, what I was saying is that we went to the Rogers Center to see the Elimination Chamber, WWE's most recent pay-per-view, PLE. And we went to see some pretty good matchups between some of our favorite WWE superstars. And then at the very end, we had an earth-shattering, life-changing event that we did not expect to see in person. But it happened, and we have to talk about it.
Yes. When you think of John Cena, anyone who is like a person or a human on this earth knows that John Cena is the wrestler who has the do-do-do-do theme song. And he's like this nice guy. He's a good guy. He's a superhero. But not anymore. He's a villain. He's evil.
Oh my god. You see, in the lead up to the finale of Elimination Chamber, we have The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, the Tooth Fairy. He made a weird declaration to Cody Rhodes, the current WWE champion. And he said that he didn't want his championship. He wanted his soul.
Which is a really weird promo. Because
yes.
the way he was saying certain sentences at Cody made everything sound so weirdly sexually charged. So he's like, I want your soul. I want everything from you. And I'm like, my dude, what? What is this? Are you seducing him?
I mean, anytime I saw a corporate head honcho figure in wrestling, I've heard a lot of things, but never, I want your soul. I want your soul. And so he gave Cody Rhodes an ultimatum that he had to give him his answer at the Elimination Chamber. And the final matchup of the Elimination Chamber is, of course, the main event, the titular Elimination Chamber, where the winners of said match get a title shot at WrestleMania, just like the Royal Rumble winners do. So, whereas Jey Uso is going to be taking on Gunther, because he won the Royal Rumble, and that's who he chose.
Yep.
Who would go on to face off with Cody Rhodes? Who would go for that title? Well, it would be between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, and John Cena. And who won the Elimination Chamber?
John Cena did, which
his name was John Cena!
But I do have to say that, like, normally with Elimination Chambers in the past, they kind of just throw, like, 6 people into that match. And then they're like, okay, well, I guess you're part of this match this year. Go hash it out or whatever. But what I liked about this year's participants especially is that everyone had, like, an interconnecting story with each other. You forgot Damian Priest. Damian Priest was in there.
Oh, shit.
Right.
Sorry, Damian.
Yeah, but, like, everyone had an interconnecting story with each other this year. So, like, oh, Seth Rollins and, you know, Drew McIntyre fought at Mania last year. But, oh, CM Punk obviously has a connection with those two. And then you throw in Logan Paul, and Logan Paul eliminated Punk. And then you, like, throw John Cena into the mix. So, like, everyone has some sort of history with each other, which is great. It makes the match more interesting. It's not just like, oh, well, I guess we'll have to get through this gimmick match to get to Mania. It's like, oh, yeah. Well, actually, this has stakes now.
And I love the actual match itself as well, because this is like the first time Cena and Punk have really crossed paths since he left the company back in, like, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this great moment where at first, John Cena extends a hand because he's going to handshake CM Punk. It's been so long. They want to just have a nice, clean bout, you know. And CM Punk, no. He refuses the handshake. He doesn't want the handshake. He wants a hug. And they hug it out before they start battling each other in the Elimination Chamber. And it was so wholesome. And it's because this is such a long build-up and such a long time coming. We haven't seen these two in a ring together in God knows how long. That was friggin' precious.
Yeah, like, I know you weren't watching WWE too much around, like, 2010, 2011, like, that era.
No.
But, like, for me, in high school, that CM Punk feud, like, the Summer of Punk, that was my shit. I love that feud so much. Especially with Punk becoming the big star that he became in the early 2010s. Like, just seeing them both together in that moment almost made me cry. I know that sounds like hokey, but wrestling just gets me emotional, okay? It's graps. It's how powerful the graps are.
That's what happens with the graps.
But at least Logan Paul got eliminated. I was so nervous that, like, Logan Paul was going to eliminate Punk.
Yeah.
Or eliminate someone else, but nah, they got rid of Logan pretty quickly. They're like, nah, you're not winning this. And I swear, like, the whole arena just cheered, and they were like, oh, yeah, Logan's out.
Oh, yeah. Which, I hate the guy, but to his credit, you know, he did come out, like, waving the American flag. And,
oh my God.
like every Canadian sporting event, you must have been so happy to be there in person to see this, but, yes, come into the Elimination Chamber Stadium, the Rogers Center, and we're watching the pre-show. Then all of a sudden, the match is about to start. So now it's time to sing the national anthem. And they start singing America's theme, and it got so loud. It got so loud. Just nothing but boos. The hardest, loudest boos you've ever heard in any kind of stadium.
Like, the boos were definitely edited, like, on the Netflix re-upload or the Peacock re-upload, wherever you are in the world, but trust me, it was loud. It was really, really loud.
And some may have felt bad for the singer, but that singer then segued into the Canadian anthem, and that's when the crowd immediately started singing along and cheering with it. I sang the whole ass anthem from my seat.
I sang the anthem too.
I sang the anthem when it was friggin' going. And that's when the cheers were super loud. So she got a cheering ovation with the second anthem. Canada was second, not first. So she did end on a high note. Everyone was praising it when she sang our anthem.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's like, it's living through history is so fascinating, but also so scary. Oh, no.
I hate living through a historical moment every week. But, anywho, the end of the match is John Cena versus CM Punk, and Cena, thanks to the assistance of Seth Rollins being a poor sport who really hates CM Punk's guts, he gives the stomp to Punk. Cena takes advantage, gets Punk into the STFU, and to Punk's credit, he doesn't tap out, he passed out. He was just unwilling to quit, but it doesn't matter when you're knocked unconscious by a move like that.
He was a little too tired, so we had to take a nap.
He's very old. So John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber, and to come out and celebrate his victory is Cody Rhodes. But who also follows Cody? Of course, it's The Rock. He approaches Cody and he asks him straight up, "I want your soul. I need your answer," Cody Rhodes. And Cody, of course, he gives him the best kind of answer you could give, where he goes, "I don't have a soul to give. My soul is with the WWE fans." Yeah!
Everyone's like, yay! Yay!
And Rock,
yay!
You can go fuck yourself.
Which was uncensored on the broadcast.
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. It's like, not only was it insane to hear, like, live, but then just, like, seeing that the broadcast didn't censor it all, I was like, oh my god, we're truly entering the PG-13 era of WWE, where, like PG-13 movies, you're allowed one F-bomb. You can say the F-word once in a PG-13 movie. And, think of X-Men First Class, where Wolverine tells Xavier and Magneto to go fuck themselves.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
But anywho, triumphant moment. John Cena's in the background going, "Yeah, right on, Cody. You didn't sell out. Yeah." And so they go to hug, and they give this big-ass hug. But after doing so, John Cena, who is facing The Rock, his facial expression just goes dead.
Yeah, the framing for that was awesome, too, because the camera cuts were amazing. Because, like, you see the hug, then it's just a straight cut to Cena's face, and then The Rock doing that gesture where he kind of just, like, slits his neck. Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
And then they release from the hug, and Cena kicks Cody in the nuts.
Oh, no.
There it is. There it is.
What the fuck?
The moment we'd all been waiting for.
This is, like, decades in the making, this heel turn.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand. I remember watching WWE from, like, 2005 to 2009 and thinking that, like, Super Cena, he always wins. His character's so stale. When they should just turn him into a bad guy again. Like, the crowd keeps booing him every time he shows up. We're always booing John Cena. We're always cheering for the guy who's supposed to be the bad guy, like Triple H, because we'd rather Triple H win than John Cena. Why don't they just turn him heel? Why don't they just turn him heel?
Yeah.
But, you know, this is the Make-A-Wish guy. He has the most Make-A-Wishes of any wrestler. He's the big-time babyface, the face of the company before Roman Reigns. And he's just Superman. He's the all-American Boy Scout. He's just, you know, He's what you think of when you think of like a paragon of virtue, the ultimate in truth, justice, and the American way. This is the guy who announced Osama bin Laden's death. It was amazing.
Yeah, which is real. That is not a meme. He actually went on top of an announcer table and announced that the U.S. government had compromised Osama bin Laden. That is real. You can look it up on YouTube. I'm not shitting you.
And also, Cena was in like the best shape of his life when he did that. And he was shirtless when he said it.
Yeah.
So I really just love the image of alpha male fucking American icon John Cena with his big ass fucking roided out triceps and shit, just being like, we have ended to a permanent end Osama bin Laden. The most American shit you're ever going to see in your life. It's crazy.
It's wild.
But
he's been the subject of memes.
Yeah.
Like, it's when he went part-time that, like, people were like, oh, yeah, actually, we like Cena. And he did more Hollywood stuff, and people were like, oh, he's actually pretty likable.
Yeah. Like, he was funny in movies, and he wasn't going for the title anymore, and now we just appreciated John Cena for what he was, and loving him in memes and stuff. So we turned around on John Cena. Now we love John Cena. And I wanted to say that before we went to the chamber, I actually got a John Cena t-shirt because, you know, he's announced that he's retiring this year. He's announced that this is the last time we're ever going to see John Cena wrestle. You know, the last time is now. After this, you can't see me.
Which is what the shirts say.
Yeah. And this one in particular, the Toronto shirt variant of the John Cena shirt, it's light blue and it has the Blue Jays font. It has like the exact kind of lettering that the Blue Jays logo has. So I loved the shirt. It's basically a Toronto Blue Jays shirt, but with John Cena. And so I had to buy it, and I wore it at the Elimination Chamber.
We both wore it to the Elimination Chamber because I got one too.
Yeah. And it's so surreal that I've been watching this guy for decades thinking he'll never turn heel. It's the last year. You know, he's retiring. This is John Cena's final hurrah. He's not going to turn heel now. It's too late. It's over. We're ending on a high note. And then finally, this generation's Bash at the Beach, 1996. Because in that event, Hulk Hogan turned into a bad guy and became Hollywood Hogan. No one saw that coming. No one thought it would ever happen.
I have friends that watched Bash at the Beach live. And even when I was talking to them about the Cena heel turn, they were like, oh my god, this is like the most generational thing that's happened regarding like a character realignment since Bash at the Beach 96.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't remember Bash at the Beach 96 myself. I was a month old.
John Cena is evil. And he just keeps attacking Cody, and he keeps attacking him and hitting him with the belt and choking him out. It was friggin' crazy. He gives the coldest dead stare to the camera. It's insane.
And Travis Scott was there for some reason.
Yeah, he was there.
Travis Scott's just like standing to the side, watching Cena beat Cody Rhodes up.
And yeah, it really affected the crowd, and I just didn't expect that when I went to see Elimination Chamber that night, I was coming to see a piece of wrestling history that we will never forget in our lifetimes. I didn't think I was ever going to see that in person.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw it in person, and that was kind of special.
It was very special. We saw it together in person. Together.
Oh my god!
So I'm trying to think of like other shows that we've been to. Well, no, we saw Cody take the title from Roman. That was special too.
No, that was also amazing. Like that title reign had gone on for years. It's probably one of the longest wrestling title reigns ever for Roman.
And like I know when Mania was announced for Philly, and where I kind of saw the direction of the story go for Cody and Roman, I'm like, nah, they're gonna run Cody Roman too next year. We need to be there. We need to be there.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. We need to be in the building for that, no matter what. So that was special. I still got to take you to an AEW pay-per-view. Yeah,
for sure. I've only been to like Dynamite. Never been to like the big shows.
Yeah, like AEW pay-per-views are amazing. I don't care what anyone says about that company right now. Their pay-per-views always hit.
Oh yeah,
always consistently excellent. like Revolution was a great show. And it pains me because, like, they're doing All in Texas in July. And I really want to go because I have a feeling that they're going to run Kenny versus Okada 5. And I really, 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 really want to be there in person for that. But one, it's Texas. Don't know if I want to go to Texas right now. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And two, I'm spent on wrestling events this year considering wedding plans and Oasis in August. Like, I gotta save money. I got life changes. But yeah. I love the silence of everyone after that segment, because, like, if you remember, no one really got up and left after everyone went backstage. People were just kind of standing or sitting down, not knowing what the fuck to react.
It was shocking. We weren't expecting it.
Mm-hmm. You see all these kids, like, in their Cena clothes, and they're just like...
I think I saw one kid as we were leaving the stadium, like, holding his dad's hand, just being like, why did he do that? Why did he do that? Oh, it's okay, son. It's okay. Why did he do that?
Oh.
John Cena would never.
Well, John Cena did, sweetie. I feel like every wrestling fan experiences their first heartbreak through wrestling.
Yeah.
For me, it was Randy Orton cheating to steal Rey Mysterio's World Heavyweight Championship contender shot at No Way Out 2006. I was so mad at that finish. Like, I hated Randy for just holding on to the rope for that 3 count when he was clearly cheating. Didn't matter because Teddy Long gave Rey Mysterio his spot back, like, that Friday on SmackDown, but for a moment, I was just so broken. I was like, no, Rey Mysterio!
My first heartbreaking moment that I thought was like, no! Because I was young and I was a mark. WrestleMania 15. It's X-Pac versus Shane McMahon. And Shane's got all of these people helping him out. He's got the Mean Street Posse. He's got Test. It's just so one-sided, and X-Pac keeps getting, like, blindsided by these assholes. So, Triple H and Chyna come out. They're part of DX. They're here to help X-Pac win the match. Except no. Chyna distracts the referee, and Triple H pedigrees X-Pac and fucking costs him the match, and Shane McMahon wins. And this is the first time Triple H turned heel and joined the corporation, because he was DX up to that point. This is the moment he left DX, was when he betrayed X-Pac and helped out Shane McMahon. It was just like, Triple H, no! Why, Triple H? Why, damn it? Why?
Tell me why.
You son of a bitch! Don't you have any soul?
Does he have no heart? Does he have no soul?
You're a no good son of a bitch.
I feel like that's what that Cena heel turn needed. I needed 2002 Jim Ross on commentary for that Cena heel turn. Could you imagine what he would have said?
That would have been amazing. Why, damn it? Why?
It was a wonderful moment. I love looking at wrestling history and being there live. It's actually one of my favorite wrestling events I've gone to. I've been to a good number of them.
The whole show was good. Like, it wasn't like the end of the show. Like, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn was such a great street fight. My voice was shot by the end of that match, because I was just like, at some point, Kevin Owens and them start fighting into the backstage, and they got closer and closer and closer to our seats. Yeah. So we're watching, like, them jump into, like, all of these different trash cans and tables, like, really close to us, and we're just like, oh my god, fucking kill him!
It's so funny because, like, I chugged a cocktail before that match, and so 10 minutes in, I'm, like, so turned up that, like, by the time they get over to our section, I'm like, yeah, let's go! And I was losing my voice too.
Yeah. I loved how the female Elimination Chamber match started, because it started out with Liv Morgan and Naomi in the chamber first, and then all of a sudden, surprise visit from someone we haven't seen in a long, long time, fucking Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh shit, Jade's here, what the hell? and you think like, oh, maybe she's gonna beat up Liv Morgan. No, baby, she's going after Naomi.
Which, by the way, fantastic acting from Bianca, because her facial expressions were so heartbreaking to see.
Bianca's just in the chamber crying like, what's happening? No! Oh my god! No, Jade, please!
Naomi can no longer compete, so she's just out. People in the crowd were saying the Na 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 Hey Goodbye song.
Yeah, they turned on Naomi quick. Like, they just took Jade's word for it that, like, oh, Jade's attacking Naomi? Naomi did it. Fuck you, Naomi.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was a small card, you know. It was like 2 chambers, Kevin Sammy, Trish Tiffy versus Nia and Candice.
Yeah, that was it. It was a 4-match card. And the Rock segment, which anytime the Rock appears, like, in a segment, I always consider that a match, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, short card, but I'm not complaining. We were out of the arena by like 10.
And we had a great time. Like, I was just so happy to be there, and we saw a lot of great historic shit going on in that show. And Randy Orton as well showed up after the Kevin Sammy fight.
Yeah, that was hype.
He was gonna punt him, but then all those people ran in.
Good last show to go to for a while. I will say that.
Yeah. But yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to Mania later. And Cena, he did it because we booed him far too many times. He never forgot that. And he hates our guts now.
I think John Cena's just having a moment, so we should let him sail the open seas and have him figure his shit out.
Yeah.
You know who sailed the open seas?
Who sailed the open seas, Kara?
Goro Majima in the new Yakuza game.
Wow, what a segue.
Thank you.
Yes, RGG Studios released the newest Like a Dragon game, and it is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which is a really long title. But,
I just say Pirate Yakuza.
Yeah, that's the best way to call it, because that's basically the big gimmick of this particular game, is that, one, we get to play as Majima again, we haven't done that since, like, 0, and he has amnesia, he's stranded in Hawaii, and he ends up becoming friends with a little boy who's being terrorized by pirates, and then he goes and confronts the pirates, and somehow inadvertently becomes the captain of his own pirate ship, because of course he does.
Because it's like a dragon, and it needs a premise like this. And don't forget about this little boy's pet tiger, or cat.
Oh, of course not.
Cat, tiger. Whatever.
I mean, it is orange, it has black stripes, but clearly it's a kitty cat and not a tiger. Which just so happened to be named Goro. Even though the kid has never seen this character before, he never met this Yakuza man before when he named the cat, so... And because the tiger was called Goro, they decided to name the ship after the tiger, so now they're sailing around in the Goro Maru.
Yes, the Goromaru.
Amazing.
And plus, the little boy has a sister named Moana.
What else are you going to call her? I mean, come on.
But yeah, it's a pirate adventure.
So if you ever thought that Yakuza is great, but it doesn't have enough naval battles where you sail the open seas and get into...
For some reason, if you had the inclination for that... For some reason.
Then this game has got you covered, because that's exactly what you do in this title. My favorite thing is, like, in the older games, you know, you would do a lot of side quests to get, like, I don't know, Ichiban's trying to start up some kind of shareholder business, and he needs, like, employees to work for him, or Kiryu needs to recruit people in Yakuza 0 to do real estate, so you grab all these people and assign them to different real estate jobs. Well, in Pirate Yakuza, you do sub-stories and tasks for other people so that they can join your pirate crew, and then they can participate in giant open-scale pirate battles, not only manning the cannons and the turrets and stuff on the pirate ship, but they can also just, like, dock onto other people's boats and fight alongside you. So, freaking crazy.
I know.
I just love some of the wacky characters you recruit.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of great wacky characters as usual, and also some characters that make their return from previous games.
Yeah.
Because, in a part of this game, you still spend time in Honolulu, which was the setting of Infinite Wealth, so, for the most part, the minigames from that game are still there. You can still do the crazy delivery, you can go to the vocational school, you can snap sickos on your camera.
Because apparently Hawaii has a problem with bald, naked men flashing everybody and just, like, walking around nude throughout Honolulu.
Yeah.
As you do.
You can sail the open seas, visit different islands, search for treasure.
And this is not a turn-based battle system type of game.
No,
this isn't like the Ichiban games where everything's a JRPG. This is the way Yakuza traditionally is, And I like Majima's new pirate's fighting style, where he's got like 2 cutlasses, he's got 2 swords, and he gets a grappling hook, where if someone is far away and they're trying to shoot you with a gun, you can immediately hit him with a grappling hook and zip to where they are in order to do some kind of whack, and even a heat action, which I think is one of his coolest heat actions ever, where he slash, grabs them with the hook, bounces him, shoots him. It's like, oh my god, it was so fantastic.
Yes.
The crazy energy is still very much here on full display with Pirate Yakuza. And you know what else I love about this game that is not typical with most Yakuza games? This is like the only one. The customization.
Yeah, I like that too. That was a good part of the game.
Because not only with your pirate ship, the Goro Maru, can you completely change like the wood and the sails and everything about it to look a certain way so that you can have your own personalized pirate ship. But Majima himself, you find all these different clothing options in stores, and it's not like you just have 2 or 3 costumes throughout the game like in other Yakuza games. No, if you see a hoodie, you can buy it and wear that hoodie, and it will reflect in all of the cutscenes, whatever your character is wearing, whatever you turn their hairstyle into, however you want Majima to look, it will be reflected in the cutscenes themselves. And every single outfit he's ever worn throughout the series is present in some form or another.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want his traditional serpent, his serpent jacket, that's there. If you want his disco outfit from Yakuza 0.
Yep.
If you want young Majima with the ponytail and the clean-shaven face, you can look like exactly how he did in Yakuza 0 and play through the entire game like that if you want. And I like that when you go to the customization options, if you don't have the thing, it actually tells you where you can find it. Like, oh, his Yakuza 0 jacket, it's at the casino. Go to the casino, you can find his Yakuza 0 jacket. Oh, thank you, game. That's very helpful.
It's the same thing with the pirate parts, too, because that's how I found the, what's it called, the string lights for my ship.
Yeah.
They told me to go to this particular store. I was like, okay, I'll go get it. But I made my Majima. I made his hair not too long, but a little bit longer than it was. I think it was the wolf cut, and then I gave him, like, a red tux.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was always a fan of his Yakuza 3 drip, which is the black and red suit and tie combo. So I figured, I'm going to go Yakuza 3 Majima this game. Why not?
Yeah.
And a lot of the costumes also have like different color variations. So like you pick the outfit and then you can still have like 4 or 5 different colored versions of that same outfit. So you might pick up a gray hoodie, but maybe the hoodie can be red. Maybe it can be yellow. You have to jump in and see for yourself what the colors can be. But Yeah, it's fun to play dress up. I loved watching other people stream Pirate Yakuza because they would have like completely wacky versions of Majima themselves that I had never seen before and be like, oh my God, that's the best looking Majima I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So it's fun to just see that level of customization and it gives you an incentive to buy everything and find all the customization parts so that you can dress them up however you want.
You liked my pirate ship, right?
It was very pink.
Yes.
It was a very, very pink pirate ship.
Pink with the heart banners and the string lights. And durable as fuck because I maxed out the durability stat of my ship.
It's a good time. It's very good fun. Samoa Joe's in it for some reason.
What do you mean for some reason? Samoa Joe has to be in this game.
I suppose.
You have to have a wrestler in a Like a Dragon game.
This is true.
Like, Kenny was like a summon in Ishin, but I'm still waiting for them to fully scan Kenny into like a Dragon 9. I need it.
Absolutely.
It needs to be in the series.
Absolutely. I want to give the one-winged angel to somebody.
Yes. And it's like an instant KO.
It's like Kenny Omega fights Ichiban, and if he does the one-winged angel, that means you lose the fight.
No, even better. He's a pound mate, but it's a lot of money. It's like, I don't know, $10 million or something to summon Kenny Omega to do the one-winged angel. But it instantly KOs anyone.
Even super bosses.
Yes. It's going to cost you $10 million, but it'll get the job done.
Hey, Amon. It is a spin-off, so it's not like the longest Yakuza game ever. You can probably clear this thing in about like 8 or 10 hours if you just do the story exclusively.
It took me like 25. But that's also I was doing like all the side quests in Honolulu.
Yeah, I'm saying like if you didn't do any of the side stuff, I feel like if you just beelined purely through the plot, you could probably beat it in like 8 or 10 hours.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like the most earth-shattering, oh, you need to play this. There's something really important happens in this game. It's definitely a spinoff. It's definitely a story that, like, exists on its own, and it's not necessary reading, let's say, but it is still, like, the best pirate game since Assassin's Creed 4.
Gotcha. See, I don't play Assassin's Creed, as y'all know.
You don't need to.
So I couldn't know. I don't need to.
They make it up as they go along. They don't know where the story's going. It's not worth it.
Is that how you feel about Kingdom Hearts, sir?
I mean, oh, look over there.
What? Hey, come back.
Damn it.
Do not take Nomura's name in vain.
Hey, he shouldn't show trailers for things like Kingdom Hearts 4, and then we have to wait until it finally comes out, okay?
Well, if you really feel that way, you should join all the Silk Song fans.
Oh, God.
Join them over there.
Kara, too soon.
Like, I'm just saying, we could get Silk Song next week.
Too soon. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about Pirate Yakuza. I think it's a fun time. I like the customization. I like the pirate ship battles. At the same time, it's not going to be like my top 5 greatest Yakuza games I've ever played. I do think it could have used a few new mini games, something that was not in Infinite Wealth to spice it up a little bit. But I had a good time.
It was great. I can't wait for the new Like a Dragon projects coming up.
What was that one that they showed recently? It was like Project Century or something. It was like supposed to take place like in the Edo period, but it looked like really gritty and intense.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, that looks pretty interesting. I'm actually intrigued by that. The graphics seem way better than any previous Yakuza game. And Yakuza is already a good-looking series. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
When you see Samoa Joe in this game, that's Samoa Joe.
Oh, yes, it is. I played the game in Japanese, so like I didn't get to hear Samoa Joe's English dubbing.
That was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And again, AEW missed a chance to do another cross-promotional match with like a dragon. Because the pirate theme is awesome. You could get some good wrestling matches out of Pirate Yakuza.
They could have just had Joe dress up as Raymond Law and just take on some motherfuckers.
I know he's with the ops right now. It would have been perfect.
Just dress up Hook as a pirate. It's in his name.
Dude, what? I am going to write to TK on Blue Sky later.
Tony, what's wrong with you? You had gold. You had gold. But yeah, I recommend Pirate Yakuza.
I do too. I wouldn't recommend it as like your first Yakuza game, but if you like the series, you can play that.
Absolutely. Kara, which country is Hawaii a part of?
America, like Captain America.
Exactly. You knew where my segue was going.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god. I put a lot of thought into these segues.
Well, what was the rest of your segue going to be?
I was just going to say, you know. Well, you know who the captain of that country is?
John Cena?
No, you ignorant slut. It's Captain America.
Damn, okay.
We saw the newest Marvel MCU movie, Captain America Brave New World. And it was a thing that exists. We saw it.
It was fine. That's all I have. It's just fine.
It really is. I've always had the strong opinion that a lot of people probably won't agree with, that I think the series of the MCU basically ended with Endgame, and we've just been doing epilogue ever since.
Yeah.
And a lot of those epilogues are good. You know, I liked Spider-Man No Way Home. I liked Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I liked Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like, don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot of MCU stuff that comes out that I have a lot of fun with. I do.
I thought the Marvels was just fine. It was a lot better than people were making it out to be. They're like, oh my god, it's so bad. I'm like, really? It was fine.
Yeah.
I liked it more than Brave New World, but, you know.
Captain America, I mean, it just feels like an in-between movie for some other grander showcase. I don't know. There just isn't a lot that happens in this movie that really feels super important or kind of like earth-shattering or, oh my god, like this is I can't believe what happened in this movie. Everything that happened in this movie was kind of predictable, and I saw it coming a mile away. And it didn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form, frankly.
Damn. Wow. That's kind of scathing.
Well, you know, the whole premise of the build-up of this movie is like, okay, there's a conspiracy going on. Somebody's manipulating people with brainwashing in order to trigger the president. Why are they doing this? What's going on? And it's like... Did you see the poster coming into the movie theater? Did you see the trailer or the commercial for Captain America before you saw the movie? I remember walking by a billboard where it was just Captain America standing in front of Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, I think we know where this movie's going. I think we know what's going to happen at the end of this movie. And sure enough, Harrison Ford, who's taken over for the late William Hurt, who is playing Thaddeus Ross, becomes the Red Hulk. And that's the big final showcase battle at the end.
And yes, 2008 Hulk somehow ties into this movie.
Yeah, that's weird too.
You remember the movie everyone just kind of skips over when you're rewatching the MCU movies? Iron Man, watch that. Thor, watch that. Captain America, not as great as the rest of the movies in that series, but you could still watch the first adventure and be fine. Hulk, you kind of skip it. It's a whatever. It's
it was like the second MCU movie. Like the big teaser, the big surprise at the end of the movie was like after you saw the credits, there's like Thaddeus Ross drinking in a bar. And then who goes to check up on him? Oh my God, it's Tony Stark. Iron Man came to see Thaddeus Ross. Oh my God. And he's going to tell him about the Avengers Initiative. And then in Iron Man 2, we find out he got fired from the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless, that happened ages ago. I think George W. Bush was president when that fucking movie came out.
He was either president or Obama was just transitioning in.
Yeah, because Obama didn't become president until 2009. Like, it would be the 2008 election, sure, but, like, he's not sworn in until January of 2009. So if Incredible Hulk came out in 2008, that meant George W. Bush was president during that movie. That's how long ago that we've gone from, like, Bush to Obama to Trump to Biden. And so many presidencies have happened in between these two movies that's how long of a gap we're talking about. And this feels less like a sequel to the events of Captain America, and it just feels exactly like what we're describing. It's The Incredible Hulk 2.
Yeah.
Because it's about Thaddeus Ross, and it's about the leader, who is played by that guy from The Incredible Hulk. I don't know his actor's name. And he's the big bad. And he's a goofy-ass fucking villain.
Oh, yeah.
They just gave him this goofy green makeup and they made his head really big. And he's just like, you see, Sam Wilson, I have orchestrated this whole entire plan. I've been manipulating everything from behind the scenes. And now the world is going to know Thaddeus Ross for the monster that he really is.
There's something about, like, watching mid-superhero movies with you that somehow churn out these really ridiculous villains.
It's weird because, like, Captain America is supposed to be, like, one of the more grounded, like, realistic elements of the MCU. Like, this is supposed to be, like, a political thriller, a political espionage thing. And when I think of the previous movies, I think of course, Winter Soldier, Civil War. And they didn't really have, like, these goofy villains. Like, the villains of Winter Soldier was the Winter Soldier and, like, Robert Redford's politician character and Hydra, like, fucking Nazis and shit. But, like, you never got the sense of, like, goofy alien mutant big brain weirdo people. You just got, you got Batroc the Leaper, who I think was played by GSP, the UFC fighter. And he's kind of a goofy character in the comics, but he wasn't depicted as goofy in The Winter Soldier. But those movies try to take themselves kind of seriously, a little bit. And I don't know, when you have a Captain America movie that's about, oh God, he's been brainwashed, he's turned into a Manchurian candidate, Sam Wilson's friend, he's going to be locked up for life, they're going to execute him if he can't prove his innocence in this amount of time. What the hell's going on?
And they repeat this a lot in the movie.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't understand the gravity of the situation.
Then just Green Man with big brain shows up and he turns the president into a Red Hulk. And, you know, even the final battle between Sam Wilson and the Hulk, pretty underwhelming considering, I don't know.
It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
No, I was like, okay, well, I guess it was going this way anyway. Just put him down and let's be over and done with the story. It kind of just ends, and I'm like, wait, that's it?
Yeah.
That's the climax?
He plows through the White House, and then they end up on the Cherry Blossom Road, and I think he threw a car at him once or twice, but I don't know, it just kind of ends with a whimper. It doesn't really feel like this insane, oh my God, he survived the Hulk. Like, when I think of, like, Avengers Age of Ultron, when Hulk is brainwashed by Wanda, and Hulk is going on a rampage, and so Tony has to bring out the Hulkbuster, and he's fighting the Hulk in the Hulkbuster, and there's a moment where it genuinely seems like maybe the Hulk is going to kill Tony Stark because he's breaking through the armor, and it's kind of scary and intense, and I don't know, there's just more tension there. There's more stakes. There's just something about that fight that's way more captivating than what's happening in this movie.
I guess another reason why Brave New World was so underwhelming for me too was the night before I went to the theater and watched Ne Zha 2.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Ne Zha 2 is a Chinese animated movie that came out a couple of months ago. It's actually breaking a lot of box office records. So it's like the highest grossing animated movie of all time in China, and it beat a lot of Disney records. And that movie was amazing. I love that movie so much. Like, there were stakes, the animation was beautiful, there was a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
And just go from that to Brave New World was kind of like, well, okay.
It was so underwhelming.
Yeah.
And the thing I found about this movie was that, like, I guess from what you told me of the show, because I never saw the show going into this movie. I'm just only really aware of the movies. I haven't really watched any of the Disney Plus TV shows. And Winter Soldier and Captain America, that TV show, did a better job transitioning Sam Wilson into the role of Captain America.
It not only does a better job of transitioning Sam Wilson's role into Captain America, but you also get more of that political, like, thriller type, like, beat that you get out of these Captain America movies.
Yeah.
Because, like, the show Falcon and Winter Soldier came out in 2021. That was after 2020 and George Floyd and the racial protests. So there was, like, a lot of those underlying themes in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that baseline was there. And just a lot of that was just, like... Or at least, like, it wasn't utilized to, like, its full potential in Brave New World. Like, you don't see as many, like, interpersonal, like, relationships and stakes and tension that you see in, like, previous movies or the TV show.
Yeah. Like compared to Winter Soldier, like, Winter Soldier has a lot more to say about, like, government encroaching on people's rights, and, like, you know, Captain America is, like, telling Nick Fury at the beginning of that movie, like, this is ruling through fear. Nothing about this is right. You know, like, there's that conflict of interest, I don't like what America's becoming. I don't like what this system is. And the fact that, again, nobody saw this coming when they went into the theater. Winter Soldier has this great twist where it turns out Hydra has infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and they've been running S.H.I.E.L.D. basically this whole entire time. And S.H.I.E.L.D. as the organization that we knew it is compromised, and it gets fucked over for the rest of the MCU because it's Hydra now. And it's like, what the shit? Oh my God. Like, that's a crazy ass twist.
Yeah.
And I just felt like Brave New World was just kind of rehashing Civil War, but not as well. The Winter Soldier was being manipulated and brainwashed into attacking some enemies by some shadowy figure. In Brave New World, it's the leader. In Civil War, it was Baron Zemo. And Baron Zemo's not a green man with a fucking giant brain, so he's a little more grounded in that sense. But there was a stakes, and there was, like, an actual political message about Civil War and how much of your authority, how much of your sovereignty do you give to the government in order to keep people safe? You know, the conflict of signing the accords or breaking free and doing things independently. Like, do you become, like, you know, we don't answer to the government, who watches the Watchmen? You know, like, that is a political message. That's a political theme for the movie. That's something interesting that people actually debate. There are still people who think that Iron Man was right, and people who think Captain America was right. Like, there are still people who, if you ask about that movie, you're going to get different responses on who the right characters were. It ultimately ends not with the bad guy taking on the good guys, but the good guys taking on each other, which in Civil War's case, it was Cap versus Iron Man. In Brave New World, it's Cap versus the Red Hulk versus Thaddeus, which, sure, but I don't really know what the message of this movie is. There's a conspiracy. Sam Wilson figures it out, and we know that Thaddeus partly deserves what's happening to him because he did torture the bad guy and stuff, but, like, I don't know. There's no through line. There's no major theme that I'm really connecting with about this movie. And ultimately it resolves itself so easily and so matter-of-factly, there's no real stakes. Nothing important happens in this movie that I feel like it's a very skippable film.
I mean, if you want to watch it, you're fine, but I wouldn't say it's something you need to go out of your way and see as soon as possible. You can just see, like, you just wait for it on Disney+.
Yeah.
I'll put it up on Disney+ soon.
For sure, but, you know, it's just, I just don't see the point of Captain America Brave New World. I think if it had come out 10 years earlier in the heyday of the MCU, it probably would be one of the weaker movies then. It doesn't have the same sauce as Winter Soldier or Civil War, or even the TV show, because apparently the TV show sounds way more interesting than the actual movie that we saw.
Yeah, if there's anything you need to go out of your way to see, definitely go out and see the TV show, if you haven't already.
Yeah. Even the end teaser stinger thing, I was like, that's it? That's not really a teaser. It feels like these movies are being played out of order, because like the big teaser was just like, oh, Sam Wilson, don't you understand? This isn't the only world out there. There are other worlds out there. And I'm like,
stop. That voice is just wild. That voice is ridiculous.
And I'm just like watching that going, yeah, I saw Spider-Man as well. And I saw Doctor Strange. And I know that there's other worlds out there. I think the end of the Marvels has one of the characters fucking meeting the X-Men in an alternate dimension. Like, I think we've established there's a multiverse. I think it's been established by now.
You sound more disappointed in this movie now than you were when we exited the theater.
Yeah, well, you know.
Because I remember looking at... I told you it was alright.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Nothing happens in this movie. And I just feel like it doesn't need to exist. Like, I don't think anything really happened.
But at least you saw it with me.
That's true. If you really loved The Incredible Hulk from 2008, I mean...
For some reason.
Fucking Liv Tyler shows up for a cameo, so that's nice. She must feel really weird that the current incarnation of Hulk is not Edward Norton, and the current incarnation of Thaddeus Ross is not William Hurt.
It's like, wait, Harrison Ford, what the fuck?
Yeah, wait a minute, you weren't Harrison Ford in the movie. Which, my favorite thing about that whole experience was Harrison Ford was good in the movie, and I remember showing you the Conan podcast that Harrison Ford was part of, where Harrison Ford turns out to be hilarious for his age. Like, holy shit.
He's like in his 80s and still like kicking it out there.
He's easily one of Conan O'Brien's best guests on Conan O'Brien Wants a Friend. Like, that's one of my favorite episodes of that podcast. Harrison Ford is so fucking funny in that episode.
Yeah.
Incredible. But it was a movie.
It exists. And that's it. It just exists.
Sorry, I was just kind of hoping you could segue to the next movie.
Oh, yeah. Let me think of a good segue. We saw a better movie. It was called The Substance.
Okay, I might leave that in now.
Yeah, leave it in there.
No, I'm gonna leave in the part where I said you should do a better you should do a good segue.
Yeah. The Substance is fantastic.
That movie was friggin' incredible. I loved The Substance. That was fun as hell. Oh my god.
Yes.
So this was a nominee at the Oscars this year, and it is a horror movie. This is definitely a body horror movie starring Demi Moore, one of the big pop actresses of the 80s and 90s who hasn't done a lot of stuff in the 2000s and 2010s, but she's back for this movie to play a character that I don't think she fits the role of, but certainly a lot of gross Hollywood executives would.
Yeah.
Which is that she's an aging Hollywood starlet who is far too old and therefore has no worth in this world anymore and needs to be replaced with someone much hotter and younger that's gross, ugly men who eat lots of shrimp in their close-up camera shots.
God, that was gross.
I love how this movie makes all of the gross Hollywood executives, like, they're just so slimy and they're just so disgusting. Everything they do is just like, it gives you the heebie-jeebies just hearing them talk. It's so bad.
And, like, that's the intention of this movie, though, right? Because it's like, oh, well, of course the men want, like, a younger, hotter, like, actress, and they don't see the value of, like, the woman that they currently have now.
Yeah.
Which, again, the film was directed by a woman, by the way. So, like, definitely in that, like, scope that this would be one of the themes.
Yeah, because the premise of the movie is that there is this yoga jazzercise actress, Elizabeth Sparkle, who had a gigantic career. Everyone loved her, but of course, her heyday was like 20, 30 years ago, and she has aged as a person. And unfortunately, all of these gross Hollywood executives think that she's worthless. They don't have much use for her anymore. And that's when she gets a very strange offer from somebody to use something known as the substance. The substance can make you young again. It can reignite your life. It can make everything young and fresh. But it is very, very demanding. And there are very, very specific instructions about how to use the substance. And you don't want to go too overboard or underboard, because this could really fuck everything up about your life. And this is a major, major, major decision if you're going to do this. But of course, she's so desperate to reclaim the spotlight and to get her groove back. And so she does. She takes them up on their offer and she injects the substance. And what the substance does is it basically clones a part of you, and that clone bursts out of your fucking back.
Yeah. Blood and all.
Oh my god, this is
body parts and all.
I cannot stress enough.
Gooiness.
I cannot stress enough that this is a body horror friggin' movie. This is, if you are squeamish about needles going in skin, of skin being cut, of stitching skin together, of any kind of weird ass things that are going to happen to the body, don't watch this movie. Like,
yeah.
Like you've seen,
is gross.
You've seen that it's nominated for an Oscar, but this is definitely not one for the squeamish. This is a very, very gross movie. Just because of the practical effects and how fucking visceral and how fucking intense everything is in this movie. But younger clone, played by Margaret Qualley, bursts out of her back. And, and the way the substance works is she actually has to alternate spending a week as the younger Sue, and then spending another week back as her original self, Elizabeth Sparkle. And they have to keep like alternating bodies in order to live the life that they want, in order to continue being young and free and doing all that stuff. But you know, once you get more popular and you want more freedom, you're going to bend the rules a little bit and, you know, stay out later than you need to. And
Look, I'm a hot girl and I got dates with guys. Maybe I can get away with, like, staying out a little bit more.
And, you know, some crazy body horror type fuckery is going to happen to the original body when that kind of shit happens, and you're going to have to live with the consequences of those decisions. Yeah, it's an incredibly stylish movie. Like, I guess a lot of people, some criticism of the movie is that it's definitely male gazy, because there's a lot of close-ups of the women in their tight little bodysuits, you know, lots of close-ups of their ass and their bodies.
The only reason I would kind of push back against that, though, is that, again, the film is directed by a woman. There's the intention in the beginning of the movie with, like, the executive having the close-up shot of, like, the shrimp or whatever, that, like, it is very male-gazy. So, like, while I can see why there was some controversy with, like, all the close-up shots, I think it was done to, like, I guess, accomplish the point of the movie. Because it's like, yeah, of course it's going to get very gazy there.
Yeah.
Because that's what, like, the executives give more of a shit about, unfortunately.
Yeah, like, that's the eye candy. Like, that's the part that she's trying to sell, the part that she's trying to win people over with. And that's the only thing they really care about in regards to her. They don't really care about her as a personality. They don't really care about her in terms of her as a person. They just need the hot new thing so that they can fucking get hot, big ratings and so that they can be all creepy and weird about.
Yeah. And, like, that the point is, I'm trying to say is that, like, I trust a woman telling this type of story more versus, like, a male director.
No, for sure.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Because I think ultimately the movie is a cautionary tale on what happens to a person if they try to appeal to the wrong people. If they're trying to get validation from the grossest, ugliest human beings imaginable instead of, like, their own validation and what they care about, then they're going to be put in compromising situations and they're going to fuck up their values and they're definitely going to sacrifice things about who they are as a person. Because I think the saddest subplot of this movie is that, like, she runs into an old high school friend that she hasn't seen in years. And this high school friend is, like, the biggest fan of hers, loves her show, thinks she's a beautiful woman. And Demi Moore is beautiful at her age. She's fucking incredibly beautiful.
And she's beautiful in this movie, too.
Yeah. She is beautiful in this movie. But, of course, he's a little geeky and a little weird. And, like, it's a little off-putting at first to have him just being like, oh, I was such the biggest fan of you. And she's feeling lonely because she gets all of this attention as Sue. But when she goes back into being regular old Elizabeth, it's back to being alone. And it's back to being... to not have that validation anymore. And she feels this desperate need, like, well, wait a minute. I just got that high school friend's phone number. Fuck it. I'll call him because I'm desperate for attention. I'm desperate for any kind of socializing. And you so badly want that to work out because he's, like, kind of shocked that he took her up on it. He's probably the most decent character in the whole movie. Like, being real.
Absolutely. Very, very decent.
So, like, he's the only one who genuinely likes her for who she is, her looks today. Like, she thinks she's beautiful today, not 30 years ago, but today. And she goes to all this effort to look good for him, to look amazing for him, but it's never good enough. She's never good enough to be on this date. She's still a 50, 60-year-old woman who's no longer in her prime, and she tries tweaking her makeup, tweaking her look, putting on a sexier dress, trying to fucking figure out the ultimate bombshell appearance so that she can be happy with her appearance. And ultimately, she's not happy with it, and she calls the date off. Like, she doesn't even call the date off. She never tells him.
No, she, like, ghosts him, basically.
Yeah. And that's, like, the most tragic scene in the movie for me. Especially considering the ending and where this ultimately goes. Because I just think that, like, damn, that's one of those things where, like, if she just had better judgment, if she had more confidence about her life and all of that situation, probably a happy ending waiting on that date, you know?
But not this time.
No. No, the movie goes to some crazy places. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it was a wild ride.
Was crazy. I loved it. It was a great time for me. I don't know if it will be a great time for you, but it was a great time for me. Yeah,
I just remember we were in the fucking theater just watching those final scenes and just, like, losing our mind, just being like, how is this where the fucking movie is going? What the hell's happening in this thing? Again, I don't want to spoil it, but if you've seen the movie, you know. There's a third title card When the third title card happened, I lost my shit. And I knew that the movie was not taking itself too fucking seriously, and that it had a twisted, morbid sense of humor of where this was going.
But I love that shit.
Yeah. I love
that stuff. Mm-hmm.
I just love that it escalates and it gets so out of control that, like, you genuinely don't know where it's going. And even when you think, oh, this is the end of the movie. Nope, it's not the end of the movie. It's still going. We're still having like another 20 minutes of movie left. And you're just like, how the fuck is this movie still going? Oh my God. It's stylish as hell. It's just fucking the body horror and the visual, the practical prosthetic effects of what you're seeing is just friggin' insane. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be hunting down the Blu-ray of The Substance the first chance I get, because this fucking movie was something else.
I wish I would have won more awards. Because it really is a great movie.
I mean, Demi Moore did a fantastic job. She probably could have won the Best Actress award, in my opinion.
She won the Golden Globe, though, for her category.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. It was a great performance. She does an amazing job. And you have to be kind of vulnerable with this role because both the main actresses, Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, spent a lot of this movie naked. And
oh yeah,
you see every bit of their body as they're going through this like really fucked up shit. And you have to have a certain amount of confidence, a certain amount of trust in the script, trust in the movie itself, in order to put yourself in these compromising situations, to be dragged around by your younger self as you lay in an unconscious, comatose state, you know?
Absolutely.
I think that the ending in particular is the imagery in that ending is going to be sticking with me for a long, long time. I'm still thinking about a lot of those final scenes. And I still think about how this movie ends.
Especially that one scene. You know which one.
Oh, I know which one.
I could not believe they did that. Yeah, go see The Substance. Like, ASAP.
Unless you're squeamish.
Unless you're squeamish and are specifically disgusted by, like, needles.
Yeah.
Because there are some needle things going on. So if that makes you like squeamish, viewer discretion is advised.
I don't think anything happens to eyeballs.
No.
I don't think anything happens to anyone's eyeballs in this movie, so that's good.
And again, because of the themes of this movie, if you are sensitive to like body image topics, also we'll warn you there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It is a horror movie. Keep that in mind. You're meant to be scared and terrified of what the fuck you're watching. It's not meant to. This ain't a drama. This ain't a comedy. A little dark.
It can be a comedy.
Little dark comedy. I won't. Yeah, a little dark comedy for sure. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Loved this movie.
Love it so much.
Way better than Captain America: Brave New World.
The Substance and Better Man are two of my favorite movies this year. So. Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's question time. It's question time, ladies and gentlemen. We have another Q&A, and for some reason, all of the questions today are like all giant paragraphs. You guys are writing novelizations, so I will try and read through these as quickly as possible. And bear with me, audience. Okay, Joey13133 asks, Aloha, Caro and Clement. I hope the two of you are doing well. After thinking for a bit, I actually have a wrestling question for both of you this time. I don't have much interest in watching the wrestling scene for a long time outside of whatever my brother watched on TV when I was younger and playing a little bit of WWE versus Raw versus SmackDown 2007 for the PS2. But over the years, I keep hearing about WWE and AEW from word of mouth from my friends, coworkers, other content creators I watch on YouTube, including C-Squared, and every time I do, it sounds like the most wildest thing ever. If either of you could pin it down, how would you recommend wrestling to a newbie that hasn't kept up with any of the major events or WrestleManias over the years, but is getting a little interested in checking them out now?
Well, thank you for your question. By the way, SmackDown versus Raw 2007 is like my favorite wrestling video game ever. So that's really good that you experienced that.
It's one of the best SmackDown games, for sure.
Yes. So with WWE and AEW, they're both pretty accessible in terms of like finding ways to stream them. So honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with watching either company right now. I will say for WWE though, that WrestleMania season is happening right now and the event is happening on April 19th and 20th. So in terms of like the quality of stories and matches that you're gonna get, this is the best time of year to tune into WWE. But you don't have to like know anything from like the past. I think like the show does a really great job of telling you like what characters matter, what they've been up to, why you should care, etc. So if you're interested in that company, you can watch Monday Night Raw on Netflix. It comes on Mondays at around 8 o'clock Eastern. And then SmackDown, which is the other show, is on USA Network in the United States. But if you don't live in the US, you can also watch SmackDown on Netflix. With AEW, which is the other company, they just finished one of their larger pay-per-view events of the year, and they're going into another one. So it's also a great time to tune into AEW. Oh my gosh, so much information. So much information.
Yeah.
But AEW airs on TBS on Wednesday nights at 8. But if you have Max, you can stream all the AEW shows, which is great.
Insane. The only thing I would say is just, here's what I did. When I wanted to get into wrestling, I just started watching the weekly show Raw.
Mm-hmm.
My first episode, Undertaker had abducted Stone Cold Steve Austin and brought him to the morgue in order to embalm him. He wanted to cut him open and kill him. And I didn't know what the beef was. I didn't know why Undertaker hated Stone Cold. I didn't know what was up with Stone Cold. But it's just one of those things where you hope the announcers will recap what happened last week and you just kind of follow along and carry with it because, you know, this isn't like a TV show where I'm going to watch season 1. Wrestling's on
No. Do not go to season 1 of any wrestling show. You're going to be catching up forever.
I know. What I'm saying, like,
say that.
Wrestling's on every week. It's on every friggin' week. It has been for decades. You're not going to catch up. It's just, you're watching too much. Like, just start with a show and watch it. And if you like it, stick with it. And if you don't like it, try the other program like WWE or AEW or whoever. And just see what works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, then maybe wrestling's not for you. But, you know, just give it a shot. Just jump in. That's my really only advice.
Yeah.
Just jump in.
Yeah, like, you don't have to know everything right now. Honestly, a lot of the wrestling knowledge I have from over the years was just acquired over time. So, like, I did not know everything for, like, the first maybe 5 years of watching wrestling. It wasn't until, like, maybe my 7th or 8th year. Not saying that's going to take you that long to know everything, but, like, it takes a while for, like, you to get versed in that knowledge. And don't feel pressured to, like, find a favorite wrestler right now. You just gotta feel the characters and see what they do, and if you find someone that resonates with you, awesome, great.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Shockwave FPS Studios asks, since you guys have seen the Sonic movies, I want to know if you guys saw Paramount's other video game adaptation, that being the Halo streaming series. I didn't like season 1 of the show, but I've heard season 2 was apparently better received than season 2. Than season 1, I bet. The only good thing I liked is how Master Chief was able to interact with Knuckles in last year's Paramount Plus commercial. Oh, that's something. I've never seen Halo.
I have not seen the Halo show either.
Yeah. I'm not, like, super versed in the Halo story. Like, I think I've played through the campaign of each game maybe once, and I barely remember anything about it. Yeah, I never got around to watching Halo, but I feel like one day I'll probably get around to it.
There's still video game adaptations that I still need to watch, like Fallout and Yakuza. I haven't seen either of those.
Oh yeah, we were gonna do Yakuza for the channel, for the podcast.
We were, but it kind of just slipped our minds.
Yeah, it's something we can maybe do for the next episode.
Maybe.
Either way, thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Carrie Renee Rose asks, Hey, Clement and Caro, it's that time again. I hope you both are doing well. If so, great. If not, I hope things get better for the both of you. I've been wanting to do an RPG binge as of late, and it got me thinking, what is an old school RPG you two would like to see get the HD remaster, re-release, or full-blown remake treatment? Specifically from the 90s to the early 2000s. As always, love the C-Squared content and everything you two do. Please be safe out there and take care. I think Legaia could friggin' do with a re-release, you know? I've
never played Legaia, but that would be great.
Yeah, not enough people talk about Legaia. I want Legaia 1 and 2 to get brought over to newer consoles. That'd be fun. And I'm very much like, I'm not like desperate for HD remasters or remakes, so I'm not like clawing for one. I'm fine with re-releases, you know, just re-release old RPGs and I'm happy. I'll say Legaia.
90s to early 2000s, my obvious answer is Legend of Dragoon.
Of course.
As I would just like to see that, like, given the current gen treatment. And especially since it released around the same time as Final Fantasy IX, it kind of gets shafted into obscurity sometimes. So I would like to see the Legend of Dragoon get a full-blown remake.
Legend of Dragoon has a great commercial.
It does.
I remember watching that commercial when I was younger, thinking it was the funniest thing. He cut my head off. He cut my head off. But anywho.
Which is so funny because the game is, like, really, really sad. It is nothing like that commercial.
Oh, video game commercial. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Gabriel Cousins asks, Hey C-Squared, your boy Gabe here. Are you ready for the puns? Because here they come. Oh boy. Do you know the meaning of life? I hope you have the right Clementality going into this question. If you need a Cleminute, I understand. I know this is not your Clemonth. Is your favorite ice cream Clement chip? When you brush your teeth, do you feel Clementi fresh?
I do feel Clementi fresh. Thank you.
Oh my god. Now on to my actual question. Hey Clement and Caro, what is your opinion on the furry fandom, especially the LGBT aspect of the fandom that likes to sexualize characters such as King Bowser from Mario, or Wolf O'Donnell from Star Fox, or Asgore Dreamer from Undertale? Did you know that by having an account on Blue Sky, you are likely to run into furry porn of your favorite characters? Why or why not? I just hope my sense of humor lives vicariously through this podcast. Thanks for answering.
I appreciate the jokes, as always.
This is a loaded question. Yeah, I've been aware of the furry fandom for like decades at this point.
No, you're definitely more aware of it because, like, you were on the internet longer than I was, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't really have friends that are, like, furries. I don't know. Most of my friends are, like, gamers or wrestling fans.
I mean, I might have friends who are furries, but, you know, it's not something I've particularly been into or super obsessed with, or, you know, it is an aspect of the internet I've always been aware of. Never really appealed to me, it was never my forte, let's just say.
It exists. It vibes. Yeah.
It exists as vibes. I'm not judging. I don't have any judgments either way. It's a part of the internet that I'm not a part of, you know? It's just something that exists. And, yeah. All the power to you.
All the power to you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for the question.
Rar.
And finally, Stench Vanilla asks, not to complain, but did you ever notice that in your old Let's Plays you had inaccuracies and talked too much while ignoring what was going on screen? You did a rant about Sonic 06 while the gameplay showed Sonic jumping into the Eggmobile during your Sonic 3 and K Let's Play. You were also wrong about the PS1 credits to Mega Man X3. It didn't just show screenshots of the Mavericks, it also had extra cutscenes like X being woken up in the capsule and X and Zero saving each other, which looks cool, not all cheesy or whatever as you put it back in your old Let's Play. Then the last shot of X and Zero at the sunset makes the game end on a good, relaxing note.
Wasn't that like 15 years ago?
It certainly was. It certainly was. You ever listen to the Japanese intros and credits music to Mega Man X, particularly X3, X4, X7, and X8? If so, what's your opinion on them? I think they're all pretty good and add flavor into the game. I always like the Japanese vocal tracks of the Mega Man Legends series. I always thought
those are great.
I always loved like Tron Bond's commercial theme, which was Magic. That theme is a bop. The actual ending to Legends 2 would have been way more impactful if it had the Japanese version of that song. It was phenomenal. Also, I guess to the first part, no, I didn't notice. I didn't notice what I got wrong in the old Let's Plays. I'm sorry. It's been a long, long time.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's been like forever.
And I can't remember the X Japanese themes. I remember Mega Man 8's Electrical Communication, baby. Oh, yeah. But I don't play the Japanese versions of the games, so I haven't had to hear those versions in a long, long time. I think I've maybe seen them or looked them up once, and then it was just like, oh, that's cool, that's neat. But because I keep playing the Western versions of games, I never hear that music all too often. So I think they fit. I think they're good. I do think a lot of Mega Man's packaging and how it presented itself in the West was kind of shortchanged sometimes. Like when you look at like the Japanese box art of the Legends games, beautiful artwork. The artwork is so friggin' stunning, and it shows everything about the game, like the serve bots and the airships and all those cool stuff. And then you look at the American box art, and it's just Mega Man against an orange background. And you look at Tron Bond's cover, and it's just Tron against a green background. And you look at Legends 2, and it's just Mega Man against a green background. And it's very generic. The Japanese versions of those games definitely had better box art, better music. But hey, it is what it is.
They're all really great tracks. I think you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But then again, when do you not?
Your soul is mine.
Oh, not on the podcast.
Either way, ladies and gentlemen, those are all the questions for today. This has been a very jam-packed episode, and I'm very happy with it. Are you happy, Caro?
I am very happy with what we talked about, sir.
Yeah.
We talked about pirates. We talked about generational heel turns. We let the cat out the bag about our engagement.
Can't believe we just told everyone we're kissing.
Yeah, you don't know what we do outside this podcast.
That's for C-Squared After Dark. Maybe we should make that an actual podcast for the Patreon. I don't know.
Oh gosh.
just get into really screwed up shit. But anywho, this was very fun. I'm looking forward to the Switch 2 Direct next week. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the next generation of Nintendo is going to be like.
I don't know if there's much media coming out in April that I'm looking forward to.
Toby Fox keeps teasing Deltarune. I hope Deltarune's coming out in the next 2 months. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah, he is.
Come on, Toby. Release the game. I'm dying here. I'm dying.
As long as it's not on my wedding day, which I've had a running joke that, like, there's gonna be a major video game release on the day of our wedding, and I'm betting that's, like, either Deltarune or the new Sonic Racing game.
Grand Theft Auto 6.
Great, GTA, yeah, that's another one, GTA 6.
Honey, screw your honeymoon. I'm sorry, Grand Theft Auto's out. I gotta play Grand Theft Auto. Either way, I hope it was worth the wait, and I hope that we had a lot of engaging conversations. Until next time, I am the Great Clement.
And I'm Caro. I'm gonna keep reading this super top secret book that I'm not telling you about.
Well, damn. Can you at least give me a hint?
Where were you while we were getting high? That's all you're getting. Bye.